Hey, everybody, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Welcome to the Christian Whistleblowers channel. We're coming to you from the heart, from deep in the heartland. I'm a little messed up because I forgot to send Jenny the link. We had to do things last second, but you know Jenny Moonstone, Jenny Constantine at jennymoonstone.com. And Jenny's back with us. Jenny, everybody's glad to see you, and I'm glad you're here. How the heck are you?
I'm doing great. This is so fun. I'm usually rushing around. And today I was actually on time.
You were, and I was the one that I'm like, where is she? And I had forgot to send her the link. So it's impossible for her to come on without the link.
Truly is. So I'm really excited to get into some stuff today. I feel like it's been a hot minute since we've done a show together.
It has been a while. A lot of exciting things going on for you, and things are going and growing, right?
Going and going. They never stop. Not slowing down anytime soon.
So Jenny.
Yeah.
My good friend Sam Tripoli, he's a great comedian. He's got the Tinfoil Hat podcast. He put something on Twitter today as we were getting ready for our show. I'm like, oh, dude, that is it. This is what we got to talk about. And he was talking about, he just loves 2019 because now we have a lesbian astronaut committing crime in space. But I just spent a couple of weeks ago talking to Eddie Bravo for an hour. So I want to move it to another level. Lesbian astronaut committing crime in fake space. Let's talk about that, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know the story that I'm talking about?
Okay, so I don't, but I feel like I do because I almost feel like we should have seen this sort of thing coming.
Absolutely.
It seems like a natural progression at this point. They're pretty much just mishmashing everything together to create the most progressive headline that they can think of.
Absolutely.
So it's just absolutely ridiculous.
So there's this astronaut, right? And she's a chick. I'm not against chick astronauts. And she's up on the ISS, the International Space Station. And she apparently is going through a divorce from her wife. And of course, there's some baby drama involved because, you know, all lesbian couples have children. But anyway, so lesbian astronaut in space accesses her lesbian ex-wife's financial records from the International Space Station. And now we've got a whole new space crime division that's likely to be brought out, right? So lesbian astronaut crime in space. What do you think about that? And then we'll go to the fake space part.
So amazing. I mean, you can't make this shit up.
You can't.
And that's my one S word for the show. That's the one time I'm going to use it.
I don't believe that, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for entertaining my lies.
Absolutely.
So do you know off the top of your head which outlet started putting this out first?
I don't know who broke it, but it was likely CNN. Don't quote me, but it's been on all of the outlets now.
Okay. So a couple of things. Typically with a headline this in your face, what they're doing, they've always utilized linguistics to introduce into the population some kind of a warning to test out the waters, to gauge people's readiness for what comes next. So this is really good because this is like two birds, one stone. More like
Jenny, they've already got a word, cyberspace crime.
Oh, well, I mean, we've always had cyberspace crime since the internet's been around, but
but this is cyberspace space.
Space. Right. I mean, it opens up a whole new realm of possibility in terms of what our security threats are. And it's just like to me, it feels like fear propaganda in the same way that they peddle, fear with the mass shootings and stuff like that.
Ooh, very good.
We have got to employ, this is going to be their next thing, we've got to deploy intense security measures within our space and our space command centers so that we can protect you, so that we can protect your data from criminals in space. Is she going to be facing any kind of legal ramifications?
Well, they're trying to figure out what to charge her with now because it's never been done before. And it gets even more in depth. The lesbian on the ground.
Stop. You're the worst.
The lesbian on the ground, the earthbound lesbian, just happens to be an Air Force intelligence officer.
Of course she is. Naturally. Listen, honestly, I'll tell you, I feel like these people are all actors, if they're even real at all. I don't think
Dude, check this out. The lesbian in space, lesbians in space. She's a full bird colonel, graduate of West Point, over 800 combat hours as an Army pilot. This is not a dummy.
Right.
This is not a dummy. And she just happens to access the Earthbound lesbians' financial information. Didn't even steal anything, just checked the bank accounts. And now Earthbound lesbian is suing Space lesbian, and they're trying to decide, what are they going to charge Space lesbian with?
Yeah, I mean, these are just bad actors, and this is a really bad script, and this is all a show. Okay, this is all just a show. I don't think any of it really happened. And to say it's possible, it could possibly happen. I mean, certainly they have all of our data at the drop of a hat. They don't need to get into space to find our financial data. This just seems like a ploy to talk about further security measures. You know, the Space Force.
That's a great point, Jenny.
Well, you know, that's what it is. They're now going to try to, use another level of security, and what that entails, we have yet to realize here. I mean, biological information, who knows? Who knows how they're going to do it?
From the chat room, Ryan Dressel says, we've had space balls. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Now we got space boobs.
Space boobs. Was it space puss?
Space tits, but I thought balls, boobs, that works a little bit better. So, wow. And she just accessed the internet from the ISS, Tracy. They have I guess they have a really good 5G connection up there. So this takes us to the next thing, Jenny.
Yeah.
I did because since I'm a crack researcher, not a researcher on crack, but a crack researcher, I did some study this morning. And the ISS, International Space Station, is 109 meters long. Just to give you a comparison, a Boeing 777 is 74 meters long. Okay. So it's about the size of two Boeing 747s sitting end to end.
Okay.
All right. And you've seen a Boeing 740, you've seen a big jet flying in the sky, right?
Sure, been on it.
Yeah, they fly about 30,000 feet. And about how big is it when you're looking at it up there?
Teeny.
It's teeny. So they're flying at 6 miles high. 30,000 feet is about 6 miles high. The ISS flies at 254 miles high. That's 42 times higher than the Boeing 747. Am I the only one that says, how the hell can you see that thing from Earth?
Right.
But people like Wayne Steiger, our buddy Wayne, he swears up and down that he sees it and he watches it. I'm like, bro, how? I'm not saying that Wayne's not seeing something, but I'm saying, is he seeing a 109 meter International Space Station? I don't know.
So are you proposing that the ISS is not a real location at all?
I'm asking, how the hell do we see something that's 109 meters long from Earth?
Right.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay. Yeah. No,
and like Roger Rabbit says, I see it fly by often, but what do you see fly by?
Right. Is it the ISS or is it something else?
Right. And adding to the intrigue is, I was searching today and I found several videos, Jenny, of ISS footage where all of a sudden there's bubbles.
Yeah.
Bubbles. The door looks like it's made out of paper. Mm-hmm. Tracy Dyer says that the ISS is in a pool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've heard that as well. So if we're talking about how space and what people are viewing when, they talk, NASA releases footage of the ISS and people on the ships and stuff like that. So I have heard the theory that this is all actually being filmed in some grand pool somewhere. Which I believe is entirely possible. And I do believe that the nature of space, the mainstream narrative is absolutely skewed, incredibly flawed to its core. I've also heard the theory that every single astronaut that has any kind of rank or, has a position is possibly most likely a Mason or has a very close affiliation with the Freemasons. It just essentially makes sense, because if they are actors, if they are, trying to keep this secret, and it's all very internal, exclusive little world, it would make a lot of sense. Did you see Buzz Aldrin punch a guy in the face?
I did.
For suggesting that they didn't go. I kind of love Buzz for his balls at that
exactly.
point.
And I saw another video, and I don't know, you never know in this deep fake stuff, you never know, but he bends down to a little girl asked, did we go to the moon? And he bends down and tells her, honey, we didn't really go.
I know, I saw that. And in that moment, I was like, you know what? He might be an actor. He might be a Mason. He might have lied all these years, but he couldn't find it within himself to lie to this little girl in her face. Yeah. And to me, that, you know what? I'm like, okay, you're forgiven for whatever.
Yeah, that makes him human.
It does.
The one thing that really got me was when the 3 astronauts came back from the moon the first time. Greatest achievement ever. You guys are heroes. And they're sitting up there at this table like they just screwed the pooch. They all look very, very sad. They all look very upset. They're like, God, we don't want to be here. They just went to the freaking moon.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Why are they all so pissed?
They were very uncomfortable. They were anxiety ridden. Their energy read as if they had done something really wrong.
Exactly. I'm an NLP guy, master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, and those dudes were guilty. They were guilty of something. What was it? I don't know. Maybe they pulled a train on some chick in the back room before they came out, but they were upset about something.
Well, certainly, I feel like it would have been worse than that. So I do have.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but
well, I mean,
I do know where it came from. I've been doing some studying about Jim Baker and his buddy and what they did to Jessica Hahn right before they came out and said, "Oh, we had great body ministry this afternoon" and stuff like that. So anyway.
What are you talking about? I'm sorry, none of these names.
Do you remember back in the day where Jim Baker from PTL got caught screwing that church secretary?
I mean, when you say back in the day, I want you to understand clearly our age difference here.
I do understand it. It was in like when were you born?
89.
Well, this was before you were born. But anyway, this is the whole Jimmy Swaggart, Jim Baker thing. I have sinned before you, oh Lord. That whole thing is where it happened.
Oh my God, I'm going to have to look this up.
And I was sitting in the audience when Jim Baker and his buddy, who were banging Jessica Hahn all afternoon, came out and said, "Oh, wasn't that great body ministry we had this afternoon? Oh yeah, we really got some anointing." And to come to find out, these guys are talking about doing this to some poor church secretary who later cashed in and made some big money off it. So good for her, but
good for her.
Horrible. And I just don't get it. Let's talk about the Freemasons for a minute.
Yeah.
Would you, Jenny Moonstone's opinion, and if you don't want to answer, you can, Jenny Constantine. Do you want to be called Moonstone or Constantine?
It's weird because Moonstone will stick around forever. I think Moonstone is the tarot and divination person within me. Constantine is who I am, all encompassing. Moonstone she has a specific function. Okay. She reads the cards and she does divination.
Okay.
But yeah, so what about the Freemasons?
So Moonstone is kind of like earthbound lesbian and Constantine is space lesbian.
Yeah,
only not lesbian.
That's fine. Okay, I'll take it.
Where were we before I went off on that tangent?
The Masons. We were talking.
Oh, that's right. Do you trust any information coming from a Mason, a Freemason?
Of course not.
Why not?
Well, it's not to say that they don't know. Okay, It's not to say that they don't know what they're talking about. And my understanding is you can actually be affiliated closely with the Freemasons, but up to a certain level, I believe it's well, I don't want to, if I'm not sure, I don't want to say it, but there comes a time when the joking all goes aside. They start practicing these humiliation rituals, these exposure rituals. They all have to do horrible things in front of everybody, confess. It's a real breaking down. So no, essentially you really shouldn't. You'd be doing yourself a disservice to take anything that these people are saying at face value. That being said, I think it does serve us in some capacity to listen to what they're saying and then compare that data with other sources and try to somehow find the real story in between all of that.
Yeah. So if I myself were a Freemason, would we be doing shows together?
Well, probably not, but I think that there are valuable Freemasons that we can use to pretty much get information out of them, honestly.
I have some friends that are Freemasons, and they were asking me to become a Freemason. I was studying it and asking questions, and I can't tell you a lot. And some of this, especially one of these guys, I know very, very well. He's a great guy. We work together and other things. But I started studying about the Freemasons and the Jesuits, and I started saying, "Ooh, way too much connection for me to be comfortable." So I asked him straight up, "Are there connections between the Freemasons and the Jesuits?" And he looked right at me and said, "I can't answer that." And that's all I needed to hear.
Right.
That is all I needed to hear. So if you're watching a video by somebody that is supposedly a Christian or a Christian light, an enlightened person, and they're interviewing this person and they're agreeing with this person left and right, and you happen to notice that this guy's wearing a red high 33rd degree plus Masonic ring, what goes off in your head?
Just consider your source. You don't have to turn it off. You don't have to get angry. You don't have to start spitting, veins popping out of your neck. Just realize that everybody has their role on this realm, on this level. Everybody is playing a role. And Freemasons, for the most part, they are held to their role, to that script, pretty much at gunpoint. Okay.
Yep.
They are so compromised. Photos, video of all kinds of horrible things. They'd commit murder. They would kill themselves before they allowed this information to go public.
Do you think Freemasons are under similar dark bonds as politicians and people within the Illuminati?
Absolutely. Goes without question. The Jesuits,
the Jesuits, no doubt.
Oh, and I think that honestly, the Jesuits might be higher up than the Freemasons.
Oh, good point.
I do. I think that they're generally higher up the pyramid, if you will, and utilize, this side and that side. And it's all a whole big mess here. But I wanted to circle back, if I could, for just a moment. And when we were talking about the three astronauts,
Rocky Stucci says he's going to identify as an earthbound lesbian now.
Well, you can be whoever you want to be in this day and age. So
that's right. Rocky identifies as an earthbound lesbian.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I imagine they have the same things in common, same interests.
I imagine they do. So what were you circling back to?
So these three astronauts that supposedly came back from the moon, yet looked as if the three of them had done something horrible.
Right.
I mean, at the very least, it shows that they have a conscience. Okay. Because complete
absolutely
sociopaths, they just stone face, nothing there. But I do believe that as far as space is concerned, the nature of space and what the controlling powers, the controlling factions would like the general populace to believe that space is, they're definitely utilizing all manner of dark, when I say dark, I mean dark ritual. And I believe that when we looked at that footage, those men at some point had just partaken in some kind of a dark ritual. And that's, I think, essentially what space travel really is, at least in the hands of dark magicians. They're not utilizing rocket propulsion, jet propulsion, or rockets.
Ooh, this is fascinating.
I can show you some patches from Lesbians in Space. This is nothing against lesbians, okay?
Not at all. In fact, I'm kind of for lesbians in certain situations.
Lesbians. I don't even know. This isn't even a problem here. It's just funny that they would utilize these two female actresses. I believe them to be actresses, willing or unwilling, doesn't matter at this point. But certainly to push a story.
When you said lesbian actresses, you had Rocky's full attention right there.
Ooh.
So here's the question. Now, here's the thing. Not only are they using it, ladies and gentlemen, to go for more control and more access to our financial data as to save us from this new security threat. But if people like Eddie Bravo, and I don't want to necessarily put these two in the same pot, but Eddie Bravo, Tracy Dyer, people that are questioning the realities of space and the ISS, this is another great narrative to prove, well, of course space exists. We have space laws. How could it not exist? We've got space laws. We got a space crime division. So of course space is real because we've got space crime.
Well, I've been trying to explain to people for the better part of the past few years, okay, since the 2016 election, since the Space Force came into the collective peripheral here, is that we are now moving from the surface population to what space essentially is. And we are now having to move from international borders to interplanetary borders. And that's why the whole thing is being leveled up. I don't know if you've seen this, but military.com, just, it is it's an incredibly widely consumed outlet, trusted by many. What now?
Just these people in the chat room.
Come on, you guys. We're all adults here.
Well, some of us. So finish off this point. Sorry, Jenny.
That's okay. I forgot what I was saying.
Can I finish off this segment of the show with a joke?
Do it.
Do you know why lesbians don't wear makeup while they're dieting?
Why?
Because it's very hard to have Mary Kay on your face when you're eating Jenny Craig.
Oh my God. Jeez Louise. That was cheap, but I'm sure.
But it was clean. There was no curse words at all.
Wow.
It was fine.
Mary Kay and Jenny Craig. So makeup and dieting. Got it. That's awesome. That's really great.
Makeup and dieting. How about that?
Do you have lesbian subscribers? Because if you did, you don't anymore.
Oh, I'm 50-50, and I'm one with the lesbian people. I'm in touch with my inner lesbian. I have no problem with lesbians. I really don't.
They're powerful.
Why would I worry about lesbians?
I know they're powerful people. They have the female body with an exaltation of the masculine principle. There's a lot of potential there to get things done. So I like that.
Do you think that there's sometimes a carryover from past lives that goes towards determining people's sex in this life sometimes?
Certainly. Absolutely. And I think there are some folks that are just willing to take any vessel that they can just to get down here. So they're just like, all right, whatever, I'll take it. Just get me.
But why do the Christians, why is it such a big deal if the couple next door is a lesbian? Why is that such I don't give a damn if they're lesbians, if they cut their grass and we won't go there.
Oh my God.
If they keep their grass cut and their house in order and they're good neighbors, they don't leave trash about. I don't care what they're doing. Yeah. And every now and then they might leave the window shades open and the light on. I'm just saying it could happen. So why would you be against that? And I don't care. I really don't care if they're lesbians. I support lesbians.
I do too. It has nothing to do with other people's sexual lives. I think that the whole LGBTQ thing has become a lot of propaganda for the singular purpose, mind you, of normalizing, and I'm going to say it, normalizing things like bestiality, pedophilia, and all kinds of strange sexual fetishes. And here's the thing, the gays and lesbians that I know and that I am friends with have taken this whole thing, the Pizzagate, Pedogate thing in the past few years. They've taken this as a fine opportunity to speak amongst their own community and say, we have got to draw a line here. We are all consenting adults. We choose to live and express our sexuality as we see fit. But there is one rule, ladies and gentlemen. Lesbians, gays, everything, and anybody in between all needs to draw the line within their own community and say, no kids, hands off.
No children, period.
No children. That's it.
I was talking with someone the other day and they made a statement. I can't remember who it was. They made a great statement. Might have been Anne-Marie Paul. I can't remember. But they said there's really should be no rules or problems in human sexuality except you draw the line at children.
I think that's fair. I really think that's a fair assessment. You're never going to hear me get bent out of shape because my neighbors are gay. And guess what? I do have a lovely set of neighbors. They are a gay couple. They're fabulous. We have dinner. We get and it's like, and they don't like Trump, and that's completely understandable. Yeah. And just let it be known, I can get along with plenty of people that don't like Trump. It doesn't have
absolutely, me too.
It doesn't have to be a talking point. Okay, this is a very new phenomenon where people are like, "Who did you vote for?" and you just dismiss somebody based on that.
There are gays for Trump, though, just for the record.
There are. And you know what? They're some of the most remarkable people because they're so grounded and they don't allow the mainstream puppetry to just...
They're badasses.
Oh my God.
And also, just since I'm such a crack researcher, do you know why gay men tend to go like this?
Why?
Because there's seldom enough room to go like this.
Oh God. Oh, this is happening. This is happening right now. Does everybody, are you usually this jovial and funny?
No, it's just when Jenny Moonstone Constantine is on, it's just an extra burst of energy and frivolity and fun and all that stuff. And plus our subject just lends itself to lots of great stuff. But I think I'm out of material as far as.
I mean, is that like an RV and a picnic table on the moon?
It's perfect because that's like, it's a joke about the and I just pulled this up, but I can see a joke about the moon rover and it's just like, come on, man, really? They tell us they put an RV up there. There's a stiff flag there, like, come on, how come the flag on the moon blows in the wind?
Don't you love that well, not me, but don't you love that they lost the tapes? They're gone. They're just hundreds and hundreds of real.
Yeah, Wayne and I had this discussion on Sunday. I'm like, Wayne, did we go to the moon? Oh, yes, we did. I'm like, bro.
He thinks we went to the moon. Wayne thinks
taped over all of the telemetry and stuff. Dude, you tape over old MASH reruns. You don't tape over the greatest technological achievement in the history of mankind.
No.
And womankind and lesbian kind and gay kinds. Everybody's included here.
All kinds.
All kinds. Wow.
And also, we at that point in time possessed the technology to go to the moon, but we no longer have that capacity.
Right, because technology always moves backward.
So what we're doing now is, I don't know if you are aware of this. NASA has
Make me aware, Jenny.
NASA has very little to do with actual space traversing. It has very little to do with actual cosmonaut research. Okay, it's just a front, as you know.
Oh, I like the way you took that to Russian, comrade. That was nice.
Sure, anytime. I love the Russians. I
love the Russians too. I mean, would you rather have Hillary Clinton in the White House bombing the hell out of the Russians, or the bromance between Vladimir and the Donald? I love that.
I have such a crush on Vladimir Putin. I cannot even.
I've got kind of like I think I got kind of like a man crush. Yeah. I shouldn't admit it, but when I see those memes of him riding around on the horse,
bear. Yeah, or like the horse or the bear.
I get a little something happens. I don't know. Maybe it's my Hero soap that I'm using now from the great people at Hero Soap. Go to my website, hit the little flag, get a 10% discount. But they've got this peppermint tea tree soap that I use, and I just want to tell you, I mean, it gives you a little tingle. That's all I'm going to say. Wow. And I get the same thing when I see Vladimir Putin.
A little tingle, huh?
A little tingle. I mean, it's like a bromance thing.
Absolutely. So NASA, very little to do with actual space exploration. Okay. It's actually the Navy, which has domain over the seas.
Isn't that interesting?
Oh yeah. So,
it's space water?
I believe so. I believe that there are so many jump off points.
Thinks that space is water. That's fascinating.
Yes. Well, it's not water in the way that you and I, understand water. Okay. It's more like a plasma. Okay. It's more like a jelly type of fluid.
Now, if Heidi Vandenberg was still doing videos, that would have been vodka.
Vodka. Oh yeah. That was a long time ago. There was a time though.
I have watched you two do group shows and just get absolutely trashed before our very faces.
Those were good times.
And Heidi drinking her wine through a straw so she doesn't get her teeth stained.
She's so good. She's like, dentist orders. She's amazing.
Oh, we love Heidi. I talked to her just the other day. She's doing fine. She's just busy selling houses and stacking G's, and you can't blame her.
Being a boss. Yeah, I talked to her too. So, and I get lots of messages about her whereabouts and how she's doing.
Me too. Heidi is a boss, isn't she?
She really is. In every sense of the word. She's a wonderful person.
We love Heidi.
Good times with her for sure. Hopefully she sees this and she's like, okay, I'll come back.
Okay, I'll come back. Absolutely. So we talked about pedophilia. Can we take a crazy turn, Jenny Moonstone? And Jenny Constantine? You'll always be Jenny Moonstone to me. Always.
I know. Always. A lot of folks feel that way. So I have a hard time abolishing it altogether.
Well, plus your website is Jenny Moonstone. So that kind of makes it hard to abolish it. Okay. So you had I don't know if you want to talk about it, but you had a dream and it was like a Jesus kind of thing. Do you want to give a little briefing about it?
Sure, absolutely. Okay. So You and I were discussing the rods, and we were discussing all of that. That night I had a dream that I was holding the rods, and at first they were repelled by me. They wanted to get away from me. They wanted to just create as much distance between my physical body and them as possible. And then things turned, and they literally turned around, they coiled around my forearms and dragged me to the ceiling fan and attempted to hang me from the cords of the ceiling fan. Now, mind you, I rarely have dreams where I am overpowered.
Right.
It doesn't happen. Okay. That's just not my energy, my aura. I don't get overpowered. And certainly the rods, or whatever energy was animating the rods, was not successful. And at that point in time, a very young man, 19 or 20, didn't speak. His name was Miguel. He was a Hispanic boy.
See, everyone's welcome in this show, folks. Everyone.
He took me down and delivered me to the women in my family, who are all Jesus-loving Latinas, because that's part of my heritage. They're all Honduran on my mother's side. So Honduran and Welsh. It's an interesting mix.
Say hello to my little friend.
You know,
baby Jesus.
So I was like, wow. And I was telling my husband about it, and he said, Miguel, you mean Michael? Archangel Michael? And I was like,
ooh.
Which was strange to me because I wouldn't have made that connection.
Why do you got to Angloize him? Can't he be Archangel Miguel? Why does he have to be Michael?
Right. Well, here's
what are you, a racist?
Well, because my husband is incredibly white. So, I think that was just how that connection was made. But because I have the Latina heritage, that's how my higher self decided to communicate the archetype of Jesus and the archetypal angels to me, and then being delivered into the arms of my mother, my aunts, my cousins, who are they all love Jesus. I was like, have I been wrong this whole time and I need to go to Christ? Do I need to go to the Christ? What's going on here? So it's certainly.
What was the dude? What was that show with Jeff Bridges? That movie? What was that called?
The dude.
With the dude. No, the movie was called something else. But anyway, they had the Hispanic guy on there. Come to the Jesus, and he was bowler, and he's the Jesus. He licked the ball and stuff. But anyway, not that Jesus, right?
No.
Okay.
It definitely inspired me to take a second look at who and what the Christ possibly is. Now, I have said before, Big Lebowski was the name of the movie. Oh, that's right. Duh. It's like, that's like anchored within the collective consciousness. I should have known that one.
Right.
I've never had a problem with the concept of the Christ. Okay. The sun god, the solar deity, the all father, all cultures, all religions have a version of the solar deity, the all father. That being said, it felt like a little bit of a warning. So I don't know.
Well, you're level-headed. You're an objective investigator and observer. And if I may, let me walk you through something that, I've been doing some shows lately that I've shown that the Book of Enoch is tied to the dark cabal's practice of ritual child sexual abuse and even ritual sacrifice. The Book of Enoch shows how they do it. The Book of Enoch is a cover for it. And also the invention, I believe, of the Essenes is also part of the cover story and the justification for child sexual abuse and even child sacrifice. And let me just walk you through the latest thing, which is probably going to either blow my channel up or crash it to being nobody anymore watching. And let me get your objective opinion, Jenny. I know you're not a Bible scholar, but you're an objective person. You can look at language and you can read and understand.
Yes. So
let me just show you something, and we'll show you the backstory of it too. Let me show this on the screen. Desktop number 2. So this is from the Bible, and this is the book of Mark, and we're in chapter 14, and we're on verse number 51. And I just want to show you, I'll just read it to you, and then we'll come back and look at the context. And there followed a certain young man. This is right after Jesus was taken captive in the Garden of Gethsemane and took down to be crucified, as the story goes. So there's a certain young man having a linen cloth cast about his naked body, and other young men laid hold on him, and he left the linen cloth and he fled from them naked. So what happens here is this guy was with Jesus. This person that had this linen cloth put over him. And if we look at this, we can just click here and we can see what the Greek means. Whoops, not there because I'm too close to the. Watch this. Look what the Greek means. So there was a young man, and I'll do this quick. A young man, it was a youth. It was a youth, ladies and gentlemen, and this is in the Bible. There was a youth who had been following Jesus. What does the word follow mean? To follow along with, to accompany, to be together with, to be an accompaniment, to be in a company, to be, with him. So there's this young youth with Jesus. And it says he was wearing a linen cloth, but look what this says, was wearing, what it means is he put it on. He threw on a linen cloth over, and if we get to this, it was actually, he was naked. He threw a linen cloth over his naked body. Why was Jesus with a youth who was naked and had to throw on some clothing when people came to grab Jesus?
That is very interesting.
And wait a minute, it gets even more interesting. Watch this, because the context of what was going on is even more interesting. And let's go back to the whole context of it. I got to go back out here. So what happened was this kid is with Jesus, and he's naked with Jesus, and they come to take Jesus, and he has to throw something over his body. So here's the context. They all go to Gethsemane, the 12 disciples and Jesus, and apparently this youth, right? So Jesus goes down to pray. The other guys are here sleeping. They're sleeping. So these guys are sleeping. Jesus went away with this kid, apparently. And according to the context, they were sleeping too. So why the hell is the disciples sleeping and Jesus is segregated by himself with this youth who's naked, ostensibly sleeping, and they surprise him and he's got to throw clothes on? Am I reading into this, or is this here, Jenny Moonstone?
Well, now that you explain it, I do see what you're saying. Although I will say, and I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit.
Please do.
I'm certain that somebody else would try to, argue something completely different symbology, different meanings there. But I do know what you're getting at. And I'm not opposed to the notion that the fake Christ.
Here's my point, Jenny. I think what happened, because if you go back over in John, which was the last book written, John goes out of his way to say that Jesus came to the earth as a full-grown man. The Bethlehem story is a lie. He showed up a grown guy. Couple John saying he showed up as a grown guy with this passage showing that he was a grown guy laying in bed with naked kids. Now you've got a guy that these priests and these pastors that are laying with kids can now say, hey, it's okay for us to do it because Jesus did it.
Right. Seems quite predatory, to say the least.
And Material Classified hit another thing I was thinking about. In Matthew, it talks about there will be two men in a bed. One will be taken and one will be left. And there's something just amazing. Go ahead, talk about it. Jenny, what are you thinking? Is there anything going through your mind that you want to share with us?
I mean, listen, men have been abusing children. Women have been abusing children too since the dawn of time. It's if we look at the Talmud, I mean, the Talmud is an incredibly, if you've read it, if you look at it, it speaks, life into the notion of abusing children for selfish gain. So this isn't shocking to me at all. I should just say that. This isn't surprising to me at all.
And I'll show this probably later on today, but right after in that program, BibleHub.com, it shows parallel scriptures. And right underneath that description of that kid putting something on because he's naked, it goes to a parallel passage in Luke, and it says, the abomination of desolation will stand up where it's not supposed to be. And John wrote saying that Jesus came to the world fully standing up. Is that messaging that Jesus came fully standing up, and him being there standing up with a kid that's naked is an abomination of desolation? Is this the key to the whole child abuse empire within Roman Catholicism and Roman Protestantism?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I'd really have to sit and think about that.
Yeah.
It's a definite possibility. I think you're onto something here. I do have to say, I feel like the abuse, especially the ritual abuse of children, goes back far further than that.
Absolutely. But I think this cult that we have today of ritually abusing children under the guise of religion, Roman Catholic, Roman Protestant religion, goes back to a man-made, Rome made up Jesus. Read Joseph Atwell's book, Caesar's Messiah, and he's coming back on to talk about Shakespeare's secret Messiah. They made Jesus up, and one of the reasons they made him up was to create a fear and guilt control matrix. You're a sinner. You've got to be saved. We've got the only savior. And it's not a few bad priests, ladies and gentlemen. Ritual child sexual abuse, ritual child sacrifice is a sacrament. It goes back to the beginning. It goes all the way back to Jesus. That's why they're showing him doing the things they do. That's why they'll never get rid of it until we burn the place down. Christianity is, by its nature, ritualistically child abusing. And if you're a Christian or a Christian light and you're supporting this, you're supporting this. I know that's my opinion, not Jenny Moonstone's, but that's what I have to say about that. Now, that being said, there is a message of, even the word Christ is a bad translation. It really means anointing, consecration, flow. There is a message: love yourself, love your neighbor, live in peace, and peace that passes all understanding. Live life more abundantly. That is a powerful message. That is still a true message. That's the Christ message, Jenny, although that's a bad translation. The message of the anointing, the message of the consecration, the message of the flow. You've got the spark of divinity within you. I've got the spark of divinity within me. Let's love each other. Let's build a peaceful earth. Let's have life and life more abundant. That's powerful. But I have been set free as of today, August 26th. I've finally been set free from Jesus, 100%.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear it.
Did I Shanghai you on that? Was that unfair to break that out on you?
Not at all. What are you talking about? There's no rules here.
Yeah.
But the Romans did. They certainly enjoyed hijacking and skewing a lot of the pagan religions, including Norse,
absolutely,
Iranian, Persian cultures. All of it. They took from it. They stole from it. They created something different. So it makes perfect sense to me that they would take a solar deity, the All-Father, known as the All-Father. I believe he is Ra. In Egypt, he is.
You're right.
He is Lu, Lugh is the common
Lug, or Lu.
Solar deity. So it makes sense that the Roman Empire would decide to take the solar deity, work it around a little bit, call him the Son of God, and simply utilize it to their ability. They were masters of warfare. They were masters of mind control and strategy, and it has had a lasting effect.
Yep. And you have to remember, the New Testament was written under Roman military occupation. Every word of that New Testament was read, edited, and vetted by a Roman official. So the New Testament is, bottom line, a Roman-approved book. You can actually say that the Romans wrote the New Testament. The Romans invented Jesus, and they invented a Jesus that serves multiple purposes for this sick, twisted, dark world that we're living in today, in my humble opinion.
You know what just came to mind? I think it was the Looney Tunes, but there is a little Martian, Marvin the Martian, he wears a Centurion helmet.
No, that's not him. But anyway, yeah, I know who he's talking about.
Marvin? No, it is
Marvin the Martian.
He wears a Centurion helmet.
He does.
Which is a blatant nod to the Roman Empire.
Oh, it is.
And I think will ultimately tie in to what actual space travel is.
Holy crap, Jenny. That is powerful stuff right there.
Well, they did the same thing with Captain Marvel, who is a female, and I had high hopes for what they were going to do with that character. But she has a Centurion helmet. And I'm like,
wait a minute. Captain Marvel is a woman?
Yes.
Is Captain Marvel a lesbian in space?
Yes. She is actually a a lesbian. There are no
Oh,
male.
it's in space. See, it all comes back around.
It
It all
comes
comes back around.
It's all the
You
script.
can't plan for this, Jenny. That's just talent right there. That's just talent, timing. That's just, yeah, wow.
There's
Pat
nothing
ourselves in the
new.
back for that. That was
There's,
great. Pat
there's,
yourself in the back, Jenny, right now. Come on. Good
there's
job.
nothing new under the sun. This is all very working on a cycle. It's all about cycles. So the script, they've got to make it all match up at some point. But the big thing really is in 2020 will bring about all new revelations about what space is, and what we're facing right now is this huge info war, essentially.
Will it do if Trump doesn't get reelected? Will that happen?
Well, he will be reelected, and
absolutely.
He will. Come on.
Yeah.
Who else? Joe Biden?
Oh, but some idiot conservative quote unquote commentators now running against Trump in the primaries. Yeah, for a couple weeks.
It's just not going to happen.
No.
It's simply not going to happen. Trump will be reelected. Yep. And people are going to hate me, but I still don't. When people ask me, "Oh, do you trust Trump?" Are you kidding me? I don't trust a soul. I trust me. I trust, you know what I mean? And even I'm not sure about myself sometimes. So
I know how you feel.
It's just the way that it is. But absolutely 2020 Space Force vibes. I want to show everybody my shirt really quick because this shirt is awesome. So hopefully you guys can see.
That's beautiful.
United States Space Force. So ET is getting a nice combo right there.
He is. I love it. And Rick Walker is absolutely right. This is a smart guy. He says,
I love Rick. Rick is my guy.
Trump is getting reelected and both houses will go GOP. I agree with 100%. I think it will be at least an electoral landslide for Trump, maybe an actual landslide.
Mm-hmm.
Powerful stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And I do think you're right. The next 5 years are going to be the 5 most exciting, wonderful, fantastic years to be alive in centuries.
I agree. Did you know that all of the recruiting and all of the employment taking place within the Space Force has been taking place internally? So you can't just go to a recruiter like you would go with Army, Navy, Air Force. You can't just go to the storefront and say, "I'd like to join. Where do I sign up?" All of it, all placement, all positions have been recruited and done so internally. So this has been going on for a long, long time.
Why do you think it's all internal? And does that worry you?
Not at all. No, I'm not worried. I know that there are good people in military and government. I'm not worried about it. I'm pro-military. I'm not pro-military industrial complex. I'm not pro-banker, pro this or pro that. I am pro-aggression. I am pro-security. I am all about building the space wall. And that's really what we're talking about here.
Absolutely. And Jenny, let me throw this in real quickly. I just found out, veterans, I was only in the Air Force for 6.5 years, and President Trump has signed into law the Mission Act, which means that if you have 180 days of consecutive military service and an honorable discharge, go to your nearest VA. They will set you up for benefits. Me, because of my income, I got full benefits, 0 deductible. And because I'm so far from the VA center, I can go to my own local doctor. So if you are a veteran, please go down to your VA. It's 2 pieces of paper, a half an hour, and they will tell you, they will give you health care, and it will be commensurate, the copays to your income. Donald Trump has done this for you. You have served our country. Get what you deserve. Get down there today.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And you know what? Donald Trump might be loyal to forces that we can't see. I don't know. But what I can tell you about that man is that he does not consume the flesh, the life energy of children. And to me, people might call that a low bar, but when we're in the middle of sacred warfare, which we are right now on this planet, in this realm, that is the line.
And you know what, Jenny, what came to me as you were saying that was the old Shakespearean statement, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Trump might be the ultimate one-eyed man, but at least he's not a child raper, and at least he's not eating children's faces. He is at least, do I want him dating my daughter? I don't know. But, I'm prejudiced. I met the guy. I like the guy. Is he perfect? No. Does he say stupid stuff? Yes, but I love the stupid stuff he says. And he's a real man. He is a General Patton-esque dude, and we need a real freaking dude.
Oh man, I've said this before and I'll say it again. President Trump, anybody in your administration, if you are looking for some kind of psychic advisor or somebody to add to your team, I would be more than honored. Like, oh my God, I would love to work in some kind of official capacity to work alongside this administration or administrations to come to utilize that. I feel like I was born for it.
Would you have felt that way about, say, maybe the Clinton administration?
Oh my God. Well, you know that my father worked directly for Hillary Clinton's State Department in the 90s.
Oh,
So
no.
being born into this, knowing full well from day one, I'm looking around, I'm like, this is not right. This is
No.
not okay. There's something extremely fundamentally wrong here.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I'm excited, Jenny. It's exciting times, and we keep hearing on YouTube and other places how horrible it is, and how everything's going to go bad, everything's going to go wrong, we're going to freeze to death, we're going to burn up. Oh my God, it's horrible, it's horrible, it's horrible. No, folks, the opposite is true. These next 5 years will be the best 5 years that we've ever had in centuries on this planet. And by the way, I interviewed Sam Kinison. Yeah, he's dead, but I don't let anything like that stop me. He said that Epstein is not dead. He agreed with me, and I don't think Epstein's dead.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he's dead either, to be honest with you.
Cool.
I think that this was total smoke and mirrors. Like,
Absolutely.
You can guarantee, folks, you could take it to the bank. If you're seeing it in the headlines, it's not true or it already happened. Okay. So everything that you are consuming from mainstream media is so controlled, spoon-fed, edited, all of it. Nothing is really true. It's all a show.
Rudy Giuliani went on Fox, and I'm going to go through this interview. He said that place where he was, and I've got my notes here, that place where Epstein was being held, that Epstein's cell, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much within eyesight of any place in that whole building. So it doesn't matter if the guards fell asleep or got paid off. It doesn't matter if the cameras went down. If you're in that building, you could see Epstein, and he wouldn't have time to choke himself with a paper sheet. It's just, and Rudy said several times in that interview, it's impossible. It's impossible. I think Rudy is breaking out on a soft disclosure. He's not dead. We're using him. And at the very end, Jenny, he says, the canary's going to sing, but he can't fly.
Right.
Tell me that's not some espionage shit right there, showing people that know that we got this bitch and he's singing like a bird. He's the biggest songbird since John McCain, only he's talking to the good guys.
Absolutely. And Rudy Giuliani, I believe just within the last 2 days, just made reference to Seth Rich and the murder of Seth Rich, which is really what kicked this whole thing off. Seth Rich was the reason why the WikiLeaks leak with the Pizzagate and all of that, all those emails were made possible due to the sacrifice made by Seth Rich. So it is
Seth Rich gave his life for truth, didn't he?
Did. Big time. Democrat. Seth Rich, Democrat.
That shows you, Jenny, that it's not, oh, Jeff and Jenny, they're all Democrats. They're all, no. We are supporters of people that are truth, people that want the truth out. And Seth Rich, Democrat, I salute Seth Rich. We salute his memory. He was a true American hero, and he was a Democrat.
Yeah, exactly. And I really want people to know that this isn't about the right wing or the alt-right or anything like that. That's not the deal at all. What matters is your heart, your soul, your intention. That's it. So this guy paid the ultimate price. Without him, without his sacrifice, there is so much that we would not know today.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's encouraging. This stuff is getting talked about right now.
Yeah, we ultimately owe a debt to Seth Rich because he really he may have been the guy that pushed the first domino, and Clinton and the dark left and the dark state has been trying to chase down those dominoes, but they can't catch up and they keep falling. And now they're trying to catch dominoes. And there's a guy named Donald John Trump that says, no more, no further.
No
okay.
more.
You're done.
Well, there's too many of us now. We have the Q army. We have the spirit of Q. Whether or not people like QAnon or not doesn't matter. Too many people now are in on this. You can't kill us all.
The genie's out of the bottle, Jenny.
Out of the bottle. One last thing I'd like to say is that moving forward, because
you remember Jeannie though, Barbara Eden. Yeah, she was super hot. But anyway, go
Wait,
on.
no, I just did a combo.
That was
This
Bewitched.
was Bewitched,
Uh,
and this was the
and you know what was
Genie.
really cool about Jeannie? She called Tony Master.
God, cut the shit, would you?
Anyway, you had a point to make.
Yeah, I was trying. So, oh my God. So listen, moving forward, because the realm that we are in works on cycles, we are naturally coming to this point in the time-space continuum where the bridges from this planet to other planets are going to be made completely visible, knowable. We're going to be made aware of it because that's just the cycle that we're in. It's like, okay, we spend all this time in darkness, we have the war, we go through the cycle. Now it's time for all that to be made known. The powers that aim to control our perception, which is essentially all the Matrix is just them controlling our perception of what is. They are going to try with all of their might, all of their arsenal, all their tools to impose upon us what their version of space is. And that's why we're seeing these stupid headlines about space crime and space hacking. And we have idiots. Well, he's not an idiot. He's quite brilliant, but he's terrible. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all of these people have privatized the idea of space travel, and it is very important that we fight back.
Absolutely.
We have to people have to be aware of what space travel is, how we get there, and how we've been lied to about what it is.
And you're saying it's not in craft?
No, it can be. You can, like, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay, there really is more than.
Rooney, don't listen.
Who?
My cat, Rooney.
Oh, sorry. I used that analogy the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a little much, right?" Like, who wants to skin a cat? There's more than one way to crack a nut. Oh, well, that's bad too. So
we know what you're saying, though.
I can't win. There's more than one way. Essentially, what it is, they use the human vessel. Okay, the human being is a vehicle built for interstellar travel. I have a whole video on this called Humans as Vehicles of Interstellar Travel. Space is inside you. They utilize the natural human Merkaba in tandem with their technology to map out our consciousness and track us as we traverse the cosmos. That's what
you're coming on The Last Stand. When is it? It's coming up. And that's what we're going to talk about. Please.
Let's do it.
That's powerful. When are you coming on The Last Stand? Let me check and see.
Yeah, you gotta send me reminders and stuff.
Yeah, because you committed to it some time ago. When is it? Tonight we've got Ken Schwartz, I think. I haven't heard from him. And then we've got, Jenny Moonstone, Monday, September 2nd.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep. Oh, that's a fabulous, fabulous idea. How did I not see that?
I'll be cracking a lot of nuts on that day.
That's brilliance, Jenny. Brilliance.
Good.
Wow, I can't wait to hear more about that.
It's going to be great.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what is your YouTube channel? It is linked on the front of mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my YouTube is Jenny Constantine, as is my Facebook page. And I did just in this past week create my official business page on Facebook called Jenny Constantine Tarot and Divination. So please head over there, give me a like. And then my YouTube channel is Jenny Constantine, but my website, this is why I won't get rid of Moonstone. My website, if you'd like to get a reading with me, is jennymoonstone.com.
Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, this was an interesting show, to say the least.
It was fun.
Always fantastic to have you, Jenny.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. This chat room is definitely the best. Come back tonight for The Last Stand at 9 p.m. Central. And until then, for Jenny Moonstone and all the lesbians in space and the Earthbound lesbians, we salute you.
You all.
We salute you all. Ladies and gentlemen, Jenny, please stay there. Let me say goodbye to you personally. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you.
Oh no, you froze. Am I the only one right now? Oh Lord, what is going on? He's frozen. You guys, am I still talking? Am I frozen too? Oh, this is just the worst. All right, I'm gonna give it 10 more seconds. Oh my God. Jeff, come back. Can I shake the computer and you'll come back? Jeff, come back. Don't leave me here. Oh my God. All right, you guys, I'm leaving. I gotta get out of here. Bye, everybody. Jeff, oh man, I don't know what's going on. Bye, guys.